If you're planning to shift abroad to Canada, then doing Masters in Health Administration is an option out there. So we have with us Dr. Rujuta Kulkarni, who's going to share with us her journey of doing MHA in Canada. After completing her BDS from Dr. D.Y. Patil University in Pune, she worked as an associate dentist for 3.5 years, after which she moved to Canada. There, she went on to do her Masters in Health Administration from the University of Ottawa. She recently cleared her PMP with above target and has been working as an healthcare project manager for the last 6 years. I'm Dr. Satish Kumar. This is Kaizen Dental. Our aim here is to help dentists succeed. Hi, Dr. Rujuta. Thank you for joining us today. My first question to you is why did you shift to Canada?
Hi. First of all, thank you for having me. I think this is a very informative sort of video that you are, doing. I get asked a lot on LinkedIn from, but dentists who want to move to Canada, who want to learn more about MHA. So I'm really glad that we're doing this. I actually moved to Canada for entirely personal reasons. My husband is based in Canada, so when we got married, I moved here as well with him. So he's been working here as a software engineer since about 12 years, and so it was just the next step for me as we got married. So it's been about 7 or 8 years for me since I shifted to Canada.
So you shifted to Canada. Now the common route is anyone who's a dentist here thinks I would go to Canada, practice dentistry. Dentistry is booming out there. So they take the NDEB part or try and get into the DDS route. Why did you select MHA as such?
Mm. Yeah, that's again another question that dentists who decide to switch paths get asked a lot. Especially given how lucrative the job is, and also when you've invested 5-6 years in studying in that field, why not just carry on with it? I also faced a similar sort of conundrum, but as I started researching how to get a license, I realized that it's a very, very laborious process. It's extremely resource intensive. There's approximately, I think, 5 exams that you need to clear, or there's an option of going back to university and studying with the existing fourth year and final year batch of students, and then appearing for the licensing exam with that batch. While I was doing my research, I also reached out to a couple of my colleagues and acquaintances who had shifted to Canada and had decided to go down the NDEB route, just to hear firsthand, just how difficult this route is going to be and mentally prepare myself. And I was told almost unanimously that it's not going to be a walk in the park. You need to put in a solid 12 to 14 hours a day of self study, get hands-on experience by practicing on mannequins for practical exams. And even then, what I gathered from them was the passing rate is actually not great. Only about 60 to 70% of the students actually make it in the first attempt. Most of the people I was talking to, they were on their second attempt of giving that NDEB exam. The whole process, at least 7 to 8 years back, was also costing about 40 to 60 thousand dollars, which is approximately 24 to 30 lakhs INR. So yeah, so when I was weighing my options, I realized that I wasn't too keen on going through this process, just in terms of the time taken and then the cost implications of it, right? So I started researching, other options. I very much wanted to stick to healthcare, but I wanted to know what else might be, out there. So that's where I came across the MHA program at the University of Ottawa. Because I had already shifted to Canada, moving cities wasn't an option for me. I already had a base here. I already had a home here. So it had to be within Ottawa. And that's where I found the MHA program, which is one of the most established MHA programs in Canada. I did the MHA intensive program. Back in the day, they used to offer that, but I think they've stopped that now, which is a 1 year full-time course. So they have classes throughout the week, and that's pretty much all you do. So there's no option of working part-time in the intensive program. So that's the one that I did.
Understood. So what is the other program which is available now once they have stopped the intensive program? What do you think?
Now they have a part-time program, so students are able to work on the side. The program, I think the classes are only on the weekends and in the evenings, and that's a 2-year course now.
Okay, so they've shifted it to a part-time weekend course for 2 years. So you can
Yeah,
do a
weekend and
part-time job
evenings.
otherwise. Weekend and
Yeah,
evenings.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
You
now
can
what
do
is
a
a
part-time or a full-time job. You just, yeah, it depends on what you're doing at the moment. But
understood.
yeah, yeah.
So now if someone wants to get into MHA, what is the process for applying to these universities?
It's a pretty straightforward process. All the information is readily available on the website of the universities that anyone wants to apply to. But some key requirements that they do have are academic qualifications. So, if you're applying from outside of Canada, you do need a bachelor's degree. And they require a minimum average of B, which is the grade that they consider, which is 70% and above. You also require work experience. So minimum of 3 years of full-time work experience is required for MHA. There's also an admissions test. So when I did my MHA, there was compulsory GRE or GMAT that you had to give in order to be eligible for this program. But now they've waived that off, and now you can do a Harvard online math module. You have to score, I think, a 75% on that in lieu of the GRE or GMAT. But if that's an exam that you've already given, then those test results can also be submitted, in lieu of the Harvard module. So there's two options, but you do have to provide proof that you've done the tests. Other than that, there's language proficiency. So IELTS or TOEFL. IELTS, I think you require a score of 7, and for TOEFL, it was about 100, which was the minimum score required. Once you provide all this, a member of the committee or the management admissions faculty may even contact you for a personal interview.
Okay,
The interview is where they try to explore the student's background, what their objectives are for pursuing MHA. Are they a good fit? Are they able to communicate effectively? Those type of things. So yeah, so that's the overall application process. Once you do receive an admissions offer from the university, they then ask you to upload transcripts from your bachelor's university. So yeah, you have to reach out to your university, get those unofficial transcripts, and provide them to the university that you're applying for MHA.
understood. So basically, there are like three levels in it. First is you have to give those exams. Once your exams and you apply, submit your applications, then they might contact you. There might be a personalized interview. That'll be the second step. And once you get the admission, that is when your submission of transcripts comes into the picture.
Yeah.
So how much did you spend for the entire process, and what is the fees once you join in?
So overall, I think because I had already moved here, I had already applied for my PR, which is a permanent residence card. So that was ongoing while I was preparing for my MHA. The total cost of the professional program is around $26,000 for like people who are Canadian or permanent residents of Canada. But if you're an international student, then it is almost double. It's about 55 to $60,000 for the program. And then to that, I think you have to add about 5 or 10,000 Canadian dollars to apply for visa. Accommodation would be separate. So yeah, it is a pretty expensive program.
Understood. So you were not charged anything for the application process as such?
I think there were some documents and some application forms that had a cost associated with it. I don't remember now, but yeah, I just remember the fee structure for it was separate for permanent residents versus
Understood.
international
So the
students. Yeah.
application fees can be easily found in the website of the
Yeah, yeah,
particular
yeah.
university you're interested in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got it. Now, once you graduate, okay, as an MHA, are there job opportunities available, or is it usually the PR residents or the Canadian citizens who get those opportunities? Before you listen to the answer to that question, do not forget to hit the like button below because it will show YouTube that you are interested in such videos and will show you more of them.
Yes, you have job opportunities for sure. You do need to apply for a work permit. One thing that my MHA program at the University of Ottawa did offer was a 4-month field project. It's also called a residency, where you have the opportunity to join a healthcare organization, pick a project of your choice, and spend 4 months working on it. At the end of the 4 months, you are required to provide a report, like develop a report, develop your findings, submit it to the university, and do a PowerPoint presentation on what your project was all about. So that really gives you hands-on experience and an introduction into the Canadian healthcare system. And right after that, yeah, you're open to apply to jobs. Mostly you get entry level to mid management positions. Those are your main options. But yeah, there are several jobs. It depends on what your preference is, whether you want to be out in the field, working as a clinical manager or healthcare manager. There's quality improvement, risk management, project managers, policy analysts. There's also a research component. So if you want to, work in a research organization, then that's also an option. You can also join an organization where you help with human resources planning. So that's again one option. There's also some roles which I've seen which are education specialists, so developing educational materials for like the nursing, or other allied health professions. So there's several job opportunities. It really depends on what your preference is.
Understood. So there is a wide variety of fields which you can explore after MHA. So MHA
Yeah,
just basically forms a base and then you can
yeah,
further specialize into one of these.
exactly. Yeah.
Great. Now, when you tell the entire process, okay, it sounds very simple, but I'm sure
Mhm.
it was not. There would have been some problems which you faced. So could you shed a light for the audience on what problems you have during this process and what they should be ready for?
Yeah. So it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I think one of the first problems that I faced was when I was applying. You know how I said the 70% requirement for that grade B that you have to show proof of to the university. I don't know if this is still happening, but when I was graduating from my dental college, I think 60 to 65% scoring that much was considered pretty good, right? Like it was
Yes, absolutely.
above average. Yeah, so to go back to a university and convince them that 60-65% is actually considered a grade A was difficult. So I had to provide them with a grading scale to show them the comparable results. So that was a little bit tedious. So they actually rejected my application because they thought I was below average as compared to what their requirement was. So that was one of my main, I think, challenges while applying for the program.
So is it possible to do
And
that? You
that
go back and prove it? How did you do that?
yeah, I actually just reached out to my university and I told them that, this is the problem that I'm facing. So I asked for my college admin, like back in India, to provide me with a grading scale and with like written proof that this grade actually translates to, or this percentage actually translates to this grade in reality. So yeah, that was not fun, but yeah, getting that document is crucial. Yeah. I guess my other challenge was I had to give the GRE and I had to go back to math, right? And maths was not something that I was fond of. I had left math actually in 11th and 12th because I knew that I'm going to pursue dentistry and I don't really require maths. So to go back and study maths, and it's not an easy type of maths. It's pretty uh, intense in terms of like the questions that they ask in GRE, GMAT. And now with the Harvard module, which is again a very specific to math module, yeah, you have to be prepared to study maths again. So that was again another challenge. But I think overall, so those are my application challenges. But overall, moving to a new country, you don't have much knowledge about the healthcare system. You're fresh off the boat, so that can be quite challenging because you don't have hands-on experience, right, in a healthcare organization that is specific to Canada. So for me, I think that was also pretty challenging, pretty tough in the beginning. There's always lack of confidence about what exactly am I doing here, like this doesn't apply to what I've studied, this is not what I have experience in. So to just wrap your head around this is brand new, but to learn on the job is also, imperative. I guess another challenge for me was public speaking, communication skills, teamwork. I find dentistry to be a very isolated profession where you're
Yes.
directly just dealing with a patient. You're not working in a big team, for example. There's not too many moving parts. So um, to switch your mentality to now, start working in a team where everything depends on how great the team works together, was also a learning curve for sure. um, and yeah, just initially there's a little bit of lack of clarity, right? Of what am I going to do next? There's always a little bit of nervousness about that. So those were some of my main challenges
So
um,
it's a mental
during this
game. So
process.
initially you have to
Yes.
have that mental endurance to go through it, your self-doubt, overcoming that, whether it's presentation skills or what you will do next. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it was a tough time, and it's
Yeah.
great that you have gone through it successfully.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to
Uh,
think so. Yeah.
yes. So the point is, once you finished all this, now someone is watching this video. You've told them about the challenges, about what MHA is. Is there any specific advice to some young dentist who's watching this and wants to follow your path?
Yeah, for sure. I think leaving India and your comfortable life in India is, not a joke. You're being uprooted. You're moving, across the globe. So it really takes a lot of adjustment. Takes real courage to stick it out till the end. So it's really important to have your eyes on the prize. I think you have to do it with utmost sincerity. You have to be motivated by, what your end goal is, what you want to achieve. Don't do it just because everybody else is doing it, or you've heard things. Do your research. Come prepared for a lot of hard work. Yeah, you have to be prepared for a really long, arduous but like fruitful and rewarding professional journey. You also, I think, one of my challenges was unlearning a lot of old habits, where you're mugging or studying 1 or 2 weeks just before the exam. But here you are pushed out of your comfort zone. You are asked to apply, your knowledge, all the knowledge that you're receiving in your program. You're asked to apply it in real time, right? Because this course is an extremely immersive type of course where you are asked to work on submissions, reports almost every week, and you're graded on that. So be prepared to be challenged. You can't put off things till the very last moment. Another thing is networking, I think, is key. I actually got my first job while I was in the middle of my program just
Great.
because of networking. Yeah, I hadn't even finished my final year project, and I met the CEO of a hospital in, a meeting, and he told me about the job. And the next week, I went, I gave my interview. I think they liked how the interview went, and I was offered the job, and I had to still pass my program. So it's very important to yeah, like I said, network, work on your communication skills, work on your public speaking, just yeah, actively seek learning opportunities. There's a lot to understand in a new country, especially about a new healthcare system. It's nowhere similar to what we've seen in India. So it's yeah, so just be prepared to learn a lot, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Again, I think for me, I was always a little bit like, no, I don't want to. I was like shy, in the sense,
Understood.
again, there's lack of confidence. But yeah, just ask away. If you have questions, just ask. The professors here are very helpful, supportive. So they do appreciate, when you're challenging them or when you're asking questions, which is unlike the education system back home, right? So that's again some an advice that I would give. Um, and yeah, just perseverance, right? Keep going.
Understood.
That would be my main advice.
So if someone wants to connect with you and gain from your experience, how do they do that?
They can reach out to me via LinkedIn. I can share my LinkedIn profile or Instagram. I'm also active on Instagram, so both these social media channels I can definitely offer to help.
Great. So we would connect her Instagram page and her LinkedIn profile in our Instagram post about this video. Do not forget to check that out if you want to connect with her.
Yeah.
I'm sure anyone who's watched this video would have got a lot of information from how the process is, what difficulties they would face, and what they should do to set things right from the start. If you like this video, do not forget to check out our Canada After BDS playlist, where we have explained various methods of practicing and earning in Canada, as well as have interviewed various people who have done so successfully.